So if I can, Bill, I'd love to share a couple of the principles. I always like to provide some value to people. If I can, I know you're an educator and a teacher by heart, and so I'd love if I can just share a couple of the principles in the book that might help somebody.
Sure. No, we wanted to hear that from you, and you're the expert, so start to tell us.
Great. So the first thing I talk about in the book is having a voracious openness to learn. And, you know, I didn't become a good student until I left school. That's the truth of it. And so there was a man named Jim Rohn I heard in a seminar years ago, and he said, if you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, you go from making a living to making a fortune. And so what are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching? What's your mental diet? What are you putting inside? You know, when you're an immigrant, you have to learn. Like, a true story, Bill, you get a kick out of this. I was selling real estate as a young realtor, just getting going. I'm showing this house, and normally I was selling these little $250,000 houses. I'm showing this $4 million house. This is 30 years ago. And I'm walking through the house, and I'm nervous. It's a $4 million house, probably $15 million today. And I open up the sliding glass doors, and I look at the people in the eye. They were from New York, actually. And I say, now in the backyard, we have 37 guacamole trees. Now, you ever been in a conversation where you know something went wrong, but you're not quite sure what happened?
Absolutely.
These people are looking at me sideways. I'm selling a $4 million house, and I'm talking about guacamole trees. Now, it cost me a $120,000 commission to learn the word avocado. So here's... It turns out avocado wasn't a big deal in Ireland at the time, but in San Diego, there's a lot of avocados.
Now, I remember, Brian, I just want to interrupt you a little bit, and I give you a lot of credit for this. As a real estate agent, you were saying that you basically drove a car that I think almost collapsed or did collapse as it drove. I mean, it was in such bad shape, right?
My first car was a loaner car, where it was a teenage, call it Deadhead mobile. There was the band, the Grateful Dead, and it had a bungee cord that kept the door on. So door to door was the bungee cord, and my first appointment, that's what I went on. You know, and here's the thing, Bill. This is what I'm so fired about. I did my first appointment in a Grateful Dead station wagon with the door falling off. I had bills that I couldn't pay, so I wouldn't answer the phone. I didn't know what a guacamole tree is. I spent the last 16 years traveling to events on a Learjet. This is still the greatest country in the world. There is opportunity awash in this country. A fish does discover water last. When you come from a place where the opportunities aren't as rich, and you come to America, all you see is opportunities everywhere. So part of this whole thing is for folks to wake up, forget the news, forget the social media, and realize that all the success and all the opportunity they ever wanted is right underneath their feet, right in front of their nose. Just got to open your eyes and see it.
Brian,
maybe if you have that fresh perspective, will do it for you.
Before we go further, and I want to hear more of your tips because they're great in your book, and I love your anecdotes. At this point in the show, we like to remind our listeners that you're listening to The Secrets of Success. My name is Bill Horan.